Well, that was quite unfortunate. I didn't get the first half of this on camera. But the table lift chain, the pivot bearing broke, and the table came crashing down. And during that process, it bent the bejesus out of the stroke limiter shock. One thing I know that I haven't done on camera yet is swap one of these guys out. So if you want, you can come along for the ride with me. Might be interesting. I know that someone has asked me how to do this before, and this is a great opportunity to answer that question. So here's a kind of a rundown of what we're going to do. We're going to end up taking this nut off. That's a 17 millimeter. And while we're in here, these bushings, these little plastic bushings, are starting to deteriorate a little bit too. So we're going to take that bolt out. There's another bolt on the back side. We're going to replace both those bushings. Then we're going to take the snap rings out, and there's lock collars, some shaft collars in here too. We're going to have to loosen the set screws on there, and that pin is going to come out, and then we'll put the new one in. So you guys are top down right now. I'm fortunate on this machine that this happens to be a post row, so I'm actually standing on the side of the pin setter. Normally this is a lot more precarious, but this was as unfortunate as this was, because nobody ever wants a table chain breaking and having the thing come crashing down. At least we can use this as a teachable moment for everybody else. Maybe. That's still debatable. I do not know where my 10 millimeter or my 13 millimeter wrench is for this. I seem to have misplaced it somewhere. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Hold on, let me put you guys on pause. I'll go see if I can find my wrench. All right, crisis averted. It was here the whole time. But I'm gonna leave the stud in this block and then remove the bolt. Easier said than done. This thing is full of Loctite. Perhaps, yeah, I'm worried about damaging this even further. There's some good Loctite in here. Wow. Holy cow. Well, if this side was that difficult, I'm sure the inboard side will be just as difficult. I'm going to leave that there for now. I'm kind of doing this blind. I can't actually see the bolt. I'm not sure that you can either. Oh, wow. Scary tight. There's a lot of thread lock in there. You have to thread lock these so these bolts don't back out. You can't tighten them down. You can't torque them. There's nothing to bolt down tight against except the plastic bushing. And in that case, you would destroy that plastic bushing. This is going smoother than I thought. This is good. Little tiny turns. We'll get there. Almost. I promise, we're almost there. Perhaps I have lied to you. I think we should be almost there, but maybe. My arms are getting tired. They're over my head here. Please come out. I'm asking nicely. There we go. There we go. Maybe. No. This bolt feels like it's an inch longer than it needs to be. Why are you so difficult? Jeez. All right, I think we're there. Let's finish getting this side out. Crazy, crazy, crazy. We may have used too much Loctite. There's one. I'll set that aside. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of thread left in this side. It's turning by hand. Awkwardly, but it's turning. There we go. All right, bolt number 2 is out. And I have dropped my wrench. That's okay. We're gonna extract our bushings. And you can't see, but these 2 little bushings here, one lives in that side, one lives in that side. I've got new ones with me. Next step. Well, you can't see. Let me get you in a better position. Hold on. Can you see me now? All right. What were we gonna do? The snap ring and the shaft collars. So what I like to do, pardon me, is I will remove the outboard side. Right there. Then I'm going to push that in. That shaft is going to move in on the inboard side far enough that I can get snap ring pliers around that edge. We're going to do that in just a minute though, because I need to loosen up the shaft collars. If I can see them here. That one here. Wrong size Allen wrench. Hold on. I think that you guys are now in a position to see a little bit better. And I brought in a flashlight also, just so you can have a little bit better visual. All we need to do is just loosen those set screws. We're not removing them. So there's one. And number 2. Okay. Well, I've got that shaft shifted over, and I'm going to remove the snap ring on the inboard side. You guys can't see it. It's like hiding right back here. I'm not going to get that on camera because I'm going to have to jump around. I'm going to do it. I'm going to crawl down there and reach up there. It's going to be awkward. Our snap ring on the inboard side has been removed. Our set screws on the collars are loose. So what we're going to do is just gently try to slide this pin out. So we've got one collar. You can go a little more. There, our shock is now free from the assembly. Can you guys see how destroyed and bent that thing got? It's that's what happens when the table comes crashing down. So try to avoid the table ever crashing down. Got a new shock absorber coming in. I'm going to slide the pin back in. What? Please go back together. Struggling today. Ah, there we go. Okay. Inboard shaft collar. Okay. Trying to line this up blind. There we go. All right. So just like before, we've got our shaft shifted towards the inboard side. I'm going to replace that snap ring on the inboard side and then bring it back in. I'll be right back. Snap ring on the inboard side is in. Let's bring the snap ring back in on the outboard side here. Oh, almost clicked in. There we go. We're good there. Before we tighten those collars, I'm going to bring our plate back into the top of our assembly. And that'll help me gauge where this thing needs to go, left to right in here. That looks about good. Now we can tighten down our screws. Right about there. I'm just going to go baby tight for right now. And then we can torque them down later. There we go. That looks good. Now let's get them set. There's one. Whoa, almost dropped it. Good catch. There's two. Okay. Now, let's go back to the top side here. Can you guys see okay? I hope that you can. We're going to bring in two new bushings. I'm going to start with the easy side. I know you should always start with the hard side, but I'm going to start with the easy side just so we can kind of get everything lined up and ready to go. And I think that I'm not going to use quite as much thread lock putting this together. I'm going to start it. Just a couple of threads started. Now, maybe I am going to use too much. That big old bottle, it's kind of hard to control. Just bring it in. Oh, you know what I have forgotten to do is to put the other bushing in. So we're going to work backwards a little bit. It happens. It happens. Not even a Monday. That's okay. Everybody makes little mistakes. The problem when you try to go too fast is that you make silly mistakes, like what I just did. That looks like we're lined back up. There we go. We got that side started. Let's go ahead and start the other side. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Again, I'm doing this kind of blind. So, what's going to be the easiest way to get this bolt started? Maybe like right here. Something like that. There we go. Maybe, maybe not. Come on, there we go. All right, that one started in. Get that back in there. Put that back on. And now we just need to tighten everything down. Let's start with that, shall we? I think so. I'm holding on to the rubber bumper. Otherwise, the whole shock absorber shaft would rotate with that nylon lock nut, and we wouldn't be tightening anything. All right, now back to our bushing bolts. A lot easier going in than coming out until that Loctite sets up. Right there. And a quarter turn. Same thing for the other side. If I can get my little phalanges in there. What if we were to do it down here? That might work. We have a little, maybe a little more swing room in there. Hold on. Going the wrong direction. There we go. Just kind of holding the wrench with my left hand and tightening this bolt with my right. I know my hands are kind of covering up what's going on. I apologize. But I think this is, for me, probably the easiest way.
Another package.
We are almost tight. And we have another package to go pick up at the reception desk. That's okay, we're almost done here. Tight, and then just a little quarter turn more. Cool. All right, I'm gonna put you guys on pause. I gotta pick up our deliveries, and then we'll get everything cleaned up and run it and see what else we can see. So I think the final step before we run this, we're gonna give everything a quick wipe down and get our grimy, greasy, grimy fingerprints off all of this because we made quite a mess here. Some of this will wipe off, some of it won't. Some of it's just oil stains over the last few years, like that. That's not going anywhere. Well, maybe if we're working in a little bit, maybe. But yeah, not bad, not bad. Get it pretty dirty. A little bit here. Let me look in the camera. Oh no, that's a smudge on my phone screen. Yeah, I'm looking at the screen of my phone, and there's a smudge right there, but it's on my phone screen. Yeah, it's not even Monday, man. That's too bad. It's unfortunate that this happened, but not anything to deal with. Go ahead and wipe some of this down. This looks good. Down our little track here. Cross members. Cool. Looks good. Yeah. I feel these shock absorbers slightly higher viscosity hydraulic fluid than what comes from the factory. Provides a little more cushion as the table's coming down. Plus, they tend not to squeak quite as much as the OEM shock absorbers. So that's pretty good. Alrighty, I think we're done. At least for this bit. So one of the last things that we've got to do before we button this thing up, or before we fire it up, is to button it up. So let's get our side covers on. Low bridge, low overhead clearance. Come on. Come here. Killing me, dude. Go in the little track. Come on. We do not have all day. Okay, all of our guards are on for safety. I'm going to swing you guys around, reposition you so you're not in danger. Make sure you're clear of the machines. Let's take a look at this pivot bearing. The outer ring snapped because the plastic underneath started snapping. You know, and this is not the first time that this has happened in recent history. So, you know, I'm not worried about these really too bad, but maybe I should reconsider. Maybe we do want to upgrade to the all metal version of these. I haven't made up my mind yet, but with this being the third one that just kind of passed visual inspection and then failed shortly later, maybe it's time to just bite the bullet. Are you guys clear? Everybody's clear of the machines? All right, restart. Wait, you see that right there? That pin's not in a pin holder. We need to remove that from the table. Hold on. Oh no, I made it worse. Well, that's okay. I'll have to hop around front and get it out. All right, restarting. Let's see if... All right, so we're going up and down. I don't know what we're waiting on. It looks like a number 3 pin. And our T-band is not moving. Look at that. No, maybe that's what that little squeak is. Something has stopped our T-band from moving. Aha! Dang it. Hold on. I found it. We had our master link, the one piece I could not find, got stuck down there between the rear roller and the elevator frame. So let's restart now and see what happens. Everybody clear? Good. There we go. Now we got pin feed. I need to clean my lenses. Yeah, that looks better. All right. Good. Let's swing you guys around. See it set. Uh-oh. We stopped. Why did we? Oh, it didn't. It's going to be detect 10. Let me, there's no 10 pin on the pin deck because there wasn't one loaded in the pin holder. That's okay. We can ignore that. That's a false error. Try again. Boop. This is looking better. Good. Yeah! Pretty happy so far. I don't see any other things of note here. Cool. Let's watch the table drive down one more time. No. Okay. Yeah. You guys can't really see it. Let me get you in a better spot here. Watching the table drive down, you see how those pin holders rock a little bit? Our stroke limiter height adjustment needs to be adjusted. So we're back down in front of the table. We've got the table down, resting on the stroke limiter. The book calls for about 5 millimeters of a gap here. We're looking okay here on the number 1. 2 is 3. Oh, that's 3. That's 2. 5 is none. So we have a front to back slight issue with the levelness front to back on our table. But maybe we can come back to that. We definitely don't have any gap here. So we need a little bit of gap there. Get my fingers out of the way. So let's turn this thing on, send it back up home, and shut it off again. Right there. So what we're going to do, we need to loosen that bolt, and then we've got a height adjuster screw in here. And then we're going to take the whole thing up and create more of a gap in our pin holders. I've got a reference line here that we marked when this machine was brand new. So we marked all these from the factory. So if anything ever happened, we knew where to go to get it back to factory brand new. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna loosen our bolts up, we're gonna adjust this up, and then when we're done, we should have a gap between these two hash marks of about 3 to 5 millimeters. This is going to be kind of a funky angle, so forgive me if things are a little wonky. But we're going to loosen up our 2 bolts. Let's see if I can do this by, can I do this by feel? I can't, I can see you, but I can't see the bolt. There we go. So that one's gonna go a little loosey-goosey. And that one right there. That one's gonna go a little loosey-goosey. And then we've got an adjuster jam nut. And make that. Loosen that, and then we're gonna go up, visually gauging about 3 or 4 millimeters. Right about there. Gonna lock that down. Going to gently tighten one of our bolts. Right. Oh, good guess. Make sure our stroke limiter is squared up to the frame. That looks about good. Okay, now we're going to do the top side. I'm using my phone as almost like a mirror. Get creative, I guess. Hey, whatever works, right? Then we'll torque this one back down. Right there. Ish. Please. Why? Why? There we go. Oops. Yeah. All right. This looks good. Let me grab you guys out of there. We'll grab the flashlight out of there and we'll go retest. All right. So let's see what our adjustment looks like. Let's see if it rocks anymore. Beautiful! That looks really good. Very nice, very nice. We are done here. The only thing left to do is put those side guards back on again, and then we will jump on to the next thing. I did just another final check because we did replace this pivot bearing. One thing to check is for clearance between your pivot bearing and your rake shaft right here. You can see how discolored that is right there. Let's see if I can zoom in a little more without going too grainy. That's evidence of the pivot bearing colliding with that rake shaft. And I'm wondering if that might have been what caused that pivot bearing to fail. I don't know. I can't confirm it because I didn't pay too much attention to how that pivot bearing was mounted before I removed it. But definitely something to check. You can put this on that way or that way, right? It doesn't matter. You can flip it around. What matters is what hole you're using on this pivot bearing. They're all a little eccentric to the pin on the crank. But you can see how you've got more meat on the bottom side here. If you flipped it upside down, your high spot would be up here and you could crash into that. So if you do have contact between these 2 points, flip your pivot bearing 180 degrees and remount it, and you'll gain that clearance back.